Welcome to Pi News World, your fastest source for everything Pi Network. From breaking news and updates to events, tips, and collaboration opportunities, we bring it all straight to you. Stay ahead, never miss a beat, and make the most of Pi Networks.
It feels like a casino run by hyperactive squirrels. The chaos, the unpredictability, the wild bets. Sometimes it seems like the only thing missing is a slot machine that pays out in memes. Every day, fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye. And the energy is electric, almost manic. It's a world where logic takes a back seat to hype, and everyone's chasing the next big win. So when Donald Trump, never one for subtlety or understatement, started making big, headline-grabbing promises about creating a national Bitcoin reserve, the crypto world didn't just pay attention, it exploded. Suddenly the idea of a former president, famous for his unpredictability, throwing his weight behind Bitcoin, was all anyone could talk about. Social media feeds lit up, news anchors debated the possibilities, and crypto Twitter went into overdrive. The market buzzed with hope, imagining the US government stacking Bitcoin like gold in Fort Knox. People pictured vaults filled with digital wallets instead of gold bars, and the idea of America leading the world into a new financial era felt suddenly possible. Bitcoin soared to a record $106,500, and the mood was pure euphoria. It was as if every crypto dreamer's wildest fantasy was coming true, and the party was just getting started. Traders poured in, convinced a pro-crypto White House meant easy riches. The FOMO was real. No one wanted to be left behind if Bitcoin became the new gold standard. The narrative was intoxicating. Lighter regulations, mainstream acceptance, and moon-bound portfolios. Pundits predicted a new era of prosperity, and even skeptics started to wonder if they were missing out. But hype is a dangerous foundation. When excitement outpaces reality, cracks start to show beneath the surface. The market priced in every promise before Trump even took office. Speculation became the new reality, and expectations soared to impossible heights. Anticipation reached a fever pitch. Everyone expected a historic Inauguration Day announcement. The world watched, breath held, waiting for the next chapter in the crypto saga. The higher the expectations, the harder the fall. When reality failed to match the hype, disappointment was inevitable. The stage was set for a dramatic turn, with the world watching. Every eye was glued to the screens, waiting for the next move. In crypto, parties built on hype often end with a brutal hangover. The excitement fades, the music stops, and reality comes crashing in. And this one was about to crash, harder and faster than anyone expected, leaving a trail of stunned investors and shattered dreams in its wake. If the crypto market was a party, Trump-themed memecoins were the wild VIP room. Inauguration weekend brought Trump and Melania coins. Personal branding meets speculative mania. Fueled by hype, Trump soared to a $15 billion market cap almost overnight. FOMO took over. People rushed in hoping for instant riches. But what rockets up crashes down faster. Within 24 hours, Trump lost 30% and Melania over 50%. Early insiders cashed out, triggering panic and a classic pump and dump. Rumors of more Trump family coins only worsened the crash. Thousands learned the hard way. A famous name isn't a solid foundation. They weren't investing. They were gambling on a personality. And as always, the house won. The lesson? Hype is fleeting, and the crash is brutal. While memecoins crashed, sending shockwaves through the financial world, the Pi network was the picture of calm, a serene island in a sea of chaos. During the inauguration frenzy, Pi's value barely moved, hovering around 22 cents. While other cryptocurrencies experienced wild fluctuations, Pi remained steady. In the volatile world of crypto, sometimes boring can be good. Stability is often underrated but highly valuable. Pi holders weren't glued to screens or panic selling. They were living their lives, confident in their investment. They just kept mining day after day, following a routine that became second nature. Their approach was marathon, not sprint, focused on long-term growth, not quick wins. They understood that true success takes time and patience. Pi's model is slow, steady, and community-driven, emphasizing collaboration over competition. It's the opposite of get-rich-quick schemes that promise the moon, but often deliver disappointment. This patience insulated them from chaos, providing a sense of security in an unpredictable market. The contrast is clear. Hype is a drug, but it fades fast, leaving only the hangover. Projects built on hype collapse. They are unsustainable and often leave investors in ruins. Those built on vision endure, standing the test of time and weathering the storms. Pi's stability wasn't luck, it was by design, a carefully crafted strategy. Sometimes the safest path is the least exciting, but it's the one that leads to lasting success. In a storm of speculation, Pi was the sturdy boat, navigating through the waves with confidence, and that made all the difference, proving that sometimes, slow and steady truly does win the race. The crypto party ended with Trump's inauguration speech. For months, the crypto world had been buzzing with excitement, fueled by bold promises and hints of a new era for digital assets. Investors, traders, and enthusiasts alike believed that a pro-crypto administration could change everything. After months of pro-crypto promises, the market waited for a big moment. Hopes were high that the new president would mention Bitcoin, blockchain, or at least signal support for innovation. The anticipation was electric, with every eye glued to the screen, waiting for a sign that would validate their optimism. But Trump said nothing about Bitcoin or crypto, just silence. The absence was deafening. For those who had staked their fortunes on a single speech, the letdown was immediate and profound. The market had already celebrated, but the lack of news triggered a sharp sell-off. Optimism quickly turned to anxiety, as traders realized there would be no instant policy shift, no regulatory clarity, and no presidential endorsement. Bitcoin tumbled from its peak, confidence evaporated. The euphoria of the previous weeks was replaced by panic selling, as investors scrambled to reassess their positions. This is the risk of tying investments to politicians. When markets hinge on political promises, they become vulnerable to disappointment and volatility. Campaign promises aren't policy. Priorities shift once in office. What sounds certain on the campaign trail often fades in the face of real-world challenges and shifting agendas. Traders who bet on Trump's words learned the hard way. The lesson was clear. Hope is not a strategy, and markets can be unforgiving when reality doesn't match expectations. Pi holders, meanwhile, were unfazed. Their project's fate didn't hinge on a politician's speech. Their confidence came from a belief in the technology and the strength of their community. Their focus was on technology and community, not political theater. They understood that real progress is built on innovation, not empty promises. The chaos was a reminder. Markets driven by politics are fickle. Today's hero can become tomorrow's scapegoat, and fortunes can change in an instant. What a speech gives, silence can take away. The absence of words can be just as powerful as their presence, especially when expectations are sky high. True stability comes from real value, not political hype. Sustainable growth is built on fundamentals, not fleeting headlines, and that's a lesson the market won't forget. In the end, it's not the speeches or the silence that matter most, but the substance behind the story. By October, just as markets calmed, politics struck again, a government shutdown. Trump escalated tensions with a crude AI deepfake targeting Democratic leaders, spreading misinformation about the budget fight. The real issue was expiring health subsidies, not the claims in the video. The stunt backfired, damaging Trump's credibility and hardening the deadlock. Public opinion turned against the administration, prolonging the shutdown. After 40 days, the Senate finally intervened. For markets, it was another lesson. Political chaos breeds economic uncertainty. Crypto wasn't directly targeted, but the message was clear. Volatile leadership is risky. Pi Network's patient approach looked wiser than ever. Sometimes, the best move is to stay out of the blast zone. In a twist, Washington's chaos brought Pi Network unexpected attention. In April, the White House's social media cryptically mentioned Pi by name. It wasn't an endorsement, but it sent shockwaves through the community. Suddenly, Pi was on everyone's radar. Was this validation, or just noise? The mention drew new interest and optimism, but also skepticism. Critics noted Pi still lacked an open mainnet and real utility. Was this political pandering, or a sign of things to come? Regardless, Pi was no longer in the shadows. The world, and regulators, were now watching. The stakes had never been higher. Despite the White House mention, Pi's reality in November was unchanged, and frustrating. The open mainnet was still missing, coins remained trapped in the app, prices were speculative, based on risky peer-to-peer trades. Many users grew tired of waiting, some abandoning the project altogether. The lack of transparency and delays fueled doubts. Pi's promise was mass accessibility, but without a real network, it remained unfulfilled. The risk wasn't volatility, but stagnation. The future depended on the developers finally delivering. The clock was ticking. The White House shoutout made Pi a regulatory target. Regulators love scrutinizing big, unlaunched crypto projects. Pi's lack of transparency and a live mainnet raised red flags. Analysts warned, is Pi a security, a commodity, or something else? A crackdown could wipe out years of community effort. Now, Pi's fate depended on both technical progress and legal navigation. Patience had protected holders from market crashes, but not from Washington. In crypto, danger comes from every direction. 2025 was a modern fable. The Trump memecoin hares versus the Pi network tortoises. The hares chased hype, sprinting for quick wins, and crashed hard. They bet on personality, not substance, and paid the price. The tortoises, slow and steady, focused on long-term goals. Their patience shielded them from the chaos. The lesson? Patience and due diligence are your best assets. Know what you're investing in. Real project or hype bubble. Quick money is often the fastest way to lose it. The slow, steady approach may not be flashy, but it endures. Pi's journey isn't over, but it's still in the race. Many hares, meanwhile, are out for good. In crypto, the tortoise's path is often the wisest, and that's a lesson for the ages.